So looks like no, they will have the more to go into the
farm up. It's going to be a lot harder for him to activate.
Yep, exactly. And take a look at what's going to happen. The mortar is actually something that I think is going to be quite effective against the likes of Influence Rage. But this can be countered, right? Depending on how fast Raikou farms this game, he could even out the odds.
Yeah, I mean, he had a solid performance on the Dune in Game 1. Kaiser with the Invincible Warrior, especially paired with Dolia, is very, very scary. I would honestly say it's probably scarier than the Dune, right? Because not only that, he does a lot of damage as well. Kaiser can actually do quite a bit of damage, especially within the early game, especially able to sustain, do quite a bit of damage, gives a bit of slow as well. So there's a lot within Kaiser's kit that really works very well. And into the late game, when he has that six items stacked up and locked in, it's going to be hard for the side of STMN to burst him down.
Yeah, but one of the benefits of having an Organ is the very extremely fast rotational speeds. You can see Zing already completed both camps. He is going to be looking for an opening on the side of Influence Rage. Sony, I think he's going to be doing well in the lane, right? 1v1, I find it hard for Nerza to lose to anyone at this point, let alone a lane. So let's see how this goes up with the 1v1.
Yeah, I mean, Sony's already up with a level ahead, right? I mean, the CC immunity just come through for with Death there, but he is already pretty low with the health, or he's kind of having to retreat, but Sony doesn't want to let him get away, but he is able to get into that T1. The mid lane having a bit of a brawl here.
Yep, and big benefits to Raikou. He does manage to get a little bit more EXP. He uses the smite onto that River Sprite, so he will have level 5 slightly faster than Zing. Will he make the world difference? Let's see.
Yes, I think another good thing of Suya as well is that wave clear from the ultimate, right? You may not want to be using it on waves, but it's just one of those things that if the side of STMN lose like the Lung, which Kurumi died quite frequently in that Game 1. So now that he has that Dragon Form, he's able to get out of there. I can imagine we're going to see less deaths. He's going to be able to keep a bit more of a survivability for himself. But then if he does fall, you've got Suya that's able to wave clear with that ultimate if needs be.
Yeah, it's a very big ultimate to use, Universal Law, one of my own favorites. But here we go. The aggression needs to be there from the side of the farm lane for Petroni and Bilal, because at this point, if they do successfully get an advantage in the farm lane, it could turn the game in favor of Influence Rage. They definitely need it, because this draft, I think it's allowing STMN to be a little bit stronger in the early stages of the game.
Okay, so we saw a potentially good Blazing Sun arrow there. Obviously, Dolia is there to give over the Celestial Blessing, to give over another Blazing Sun arrow, but there just was no commitment there from Cozy. But there's the Cannon Blast going on to Petroni. Petroni is just a little bit ahead of the XP on the side of Influence Rage compared to Kurumi right now. So you can kind of see that the marksman is a little bit better here, but Juso may be in trouble here. Riku goes in with the Invincible Warrior. There is the first blood. Once more going over to Influence Rage.
Yeah, man, that's why you pick the Kaiser, right? The Invincible Warrior is so useful in the early game dives as well. And, you know, early game, you can't really kill him. Imagine the late game potential of Raikou.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about earlier. It's quite scary to think of if we're going to get another 20-minute match, what that Kaiser is going to achieve, right? But those neutral objectives are up. We can see Kaiser is at the Azure Golem trying to steal away from Orgrim, but he's not able to get it. He's able to get a kill, though. That is Cozy picking up another kill, setting up this neutral objective, possibly.
Yeah, this is going to be huge, right? Influence Rage, I think it's pretty safe to say they have a very strong early game Universal Law going to be laid down. But is it enough to do the wave clear at this point? Because they want to establish control of the neutral objectives.
You can kind of see an effort here from Petroni and Villo here trying to push that bot lane, but we see Zing coming in with the gank here. Petroni looking pretty low. He has the flash. There we go. Returned to life. He has taken down the whole Yi. But still, they're not going to try and go for the neutral objective. I think this is the perfect time, right? Because Kaiser's on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, exactly. Totally blindsided with the kill on the farm lane, as well as getting the free tyrant for yourself. That's great, right? Yes, Sony's going to do well in the top lane, but at this point, it doesn't really matter for the side of STMN, right? Let's secure the EXP and the gold for ourselves. We allow Juzo to make full use of that sanctification as well. He's already at level 10. He's higher level than Raikou.
It's kind of mad to think, right? But that is the whole point of his passive. Is just he's able to get extra XP, and he has a level 25 cap to reach, right? He has to sprint to that level 25.
Yep, and bear in mind, because he is 3 levels ahead of Petroni, it could be a disastrous position if Petroni gets caught. Oh, nice stun.
Yep, speaking of getting caught, he gets caught by the Sun Blazing Arrow there. Blazing Sun Arrow comes through, but it's not going to be enough there. But Kaiser goes in with the Invincible Warrior. The T1 is down in the farm lane. This could mean for a big engage here for Influence Rage. They are still trying to approach it carefully. Zing looking pretty low. Arvonian looking really low as well. And Kaiser already looking still a lot of health for the side of Influence Rage. T2 not taking any blemishes just yet, but that was an aggressive push for Influence Rage.
Yep, so for all of the aggression, for all the Cs they have sown, let's take a look at their items. At this point, Venomous Staff, once again, a very utility-based Lady Chen here for Cozy, right? So Venomous Staff probably going into the Stone of Sorcery to get that burst damage for her skills as well. Similar story to Game 1, right? So we see Influence Rage, they're kind of ramping up the gold accumulation as well.
Yeah, it is very similar, same song and dance of Game 1 where Influence Rage really owned that early game, but I feel like there's a little bit more of a dominance here for STMN compared to Game 1's early game, but we do see that Sony is going down with a teleportation mechanic to stop withdraw from with death, sorry, from doing that MO, from getting that split push onto the T1 in the farm lane, which we saw him do in Game 1. But is this the definition of insanity though, right? You do the same thing but expect the same results. Surely it's not going to work 2 games in a row.
Well, I mean, taking a lead is definitely something you want to achieve for all games, right? So I think Influence Rage, they're just doing exactly what they need to do. It's perfectly fine at this point. And just as I speak about it, Petroni has now secured the Doomsday. He's going to deal a lot more damage in teamfights against STMN. Now, the question is, will they get caught off guard? Because if you take a look at the rotations, STMN, they're looking for something.
They're looking a little bit closed in, though, here on there in the jungle, whereas we see that Arboni flashes over the wall to get the cannon blast onto the Dolia, but is it going to be enough? There it is, a triple man knockup. There is, though, Death on Sunset onto the Lady Chen as well, so that is a 2-1 trade so far for the side of STMN, and they're not quite done yet. We see that Riku is still quite tanky with the health, but it is only Riku alive now. It is Lung. We have Lung, Ogren, and Elaine here, all trying to fight here. They do force away a lot of the teammates because they have lost a lot of health here. They don't want to take this 1v1 against Kaiser because Kaiser can soak that damage and do so much more.
Red team.
Yep, it's the showcase of the junglers here. Raikou doing so much work for his team. He's going to chase into Kurumi. Kurumi does not have his dragon form. No infinite vastness to play around. He will be chased down at this point.
It's literally cat and chaser. Cat chases mouse there, and unfortunately the mouse was caught. There was no dragon to turn into, unfortunately for Kurumi. But well played to STMN for getting a really positive outcome in that whole trade into the Tyrant.
Yep, so it's a little bit of a painful point for the side of Influence Rage, but I think they have evened out the losses here. They took the Crimson Golem away, they took the Tusk Boar camp as well. Now, Sony gonna reward himself with the Blood Rage as well. He has been particularly muted this game, but you can expect late game Nursa, he's gonna be a huge problem. He has instant and easy backline access with his ultimate Skyfall.
Yes, it's going to be a little bit of a game here for Influence Rage to try and claim some more lane priority now. They were looking strong in those earlier minutes of that game too. Raikou going in here with Vilo as well. That means that he's able to give that Celestial Blessing over pretty nearby. Suya coming in with the ultimate to clear that minion wave just to keep them away from the T1 as well.
Yep, not a perfect timing for the side of STMN to take a fight. But it is perfect for the side of Influence Rage. They have all the ultimates up. They're looking for a kill.
Yep, so Death on Sunset comes through to try and save with Death, but it's not going to be long. He is now with Death. The double knockup into the back line onto Arvoni, onto Juzo as well. Thanks to the Kaiser pick here is really giving a lot of pressure into these early fights. because of the tankiness of the Kaiser. We have Petroni looking like he's going to get caught out here. He is. Suya gets the takedown, but it's also going to be a 1v1 takedown for Kaiser as well. Currently looking like a 2-2 trade. Is that going to be enough for Influence Rage to clap back here? Neza is here trying to keep the Dolia alive, but Lung gets the takedown as well. It is Neza and Lady Chen on the run, trying to claim the dragon once more.
Yep, he's gonna try and run for his life. No infinite vastness. Kurumi is set for death at this point. Sunny does have the bind. He should be able to get the kill here.
Oh, okay, so the whirlwinds do come through. The pain goes on to Lady Chen, but is able to try and get that bouncy ball of death onto the Lung, but it just wasn't quite enough there. So STMN's mouse is on the run and has successfully escaped the cat this time.
Yeah, Sony did not want to commit his Skyfall there. It was very risky. He was running into the arms of potentially 4 different members on the side of STMN. So, smart play, right? Cut the losses. Unfortunate, they didn't get the kill on Kurumi, but Influence Rage, the game is not over just yet.
No, yeah, it's all bubbling up here in the mid lane, it seems, for both of these teams now that neutral objectives are in their shadow form, which makes them even more deadlier. But here we are, Influence Rage already trying to take a little bit of an engage here, trying to wipe out the side of STMN, and that's with death going down, which is a huge part of their engage into these team fights, kid.
Yep, the backline is now safe. Right now, Influence Rage, they need to figure out where do they find that chink in the armor, right? Where is the opening?
I think they found the opening at T1 there, kid. They've opened that T1 up perfectly, but are they going to be able to get into the T2? We do see that Orgrin is able to go in onto Petroni. Petroni overextending a little bit too much into the side of the lane as well there. But Lung coming through with the ultimate, trying to get that fear onto the side of Influence Rage. Cannon Blast does come through, but there's nothing else there to set it up because Lung and Suya are just a little bit too far behind.
Yep, no more damage offered from the side of Influence Rage. Petroni is dead, right? So I don't think this is a good time to take a fight, but STMN, they still need to clear the waves. At this point, look at the gold that the Orgrin has gotten for himself. Zing now at 10,000 gold. He's one item away from being 6 slotted. They're going to start working on the Overlord. This is a Shadow Overlord.
Yeah, this is a scary point to get to. Oh, speaking of scary, the crucial theft is paid back in dividends in game 2. The blazing sun arrow from the base as well onto Kurumi is just deadly. Zing looking like he's going to be in a bit of a zinger here. He's able to escape just about from Influence Rage. Sony looking pretty low as well in health. That was a fantastic crucial theft.
Yep, giving them a taste of their own medicine there. What a steal by Cozy. That's a big play. This could be the change and the difference in history.
We could get a best of 3 here, kid. I'm holding on to my socks here, thinking that it is going to be a full best of 3. We've been starved of it since day 1 of the Open Series Split 2, but I feel like that this is such an even match between Influence Rage and Stamina STM right now, because the stamina on the board is crazy.
Yep, we are not the only ones that are hungry at this point. Influence Rage looking for an opening. Eating a couple of the shots coming in from Kurumi, it is quite painful, but it is Raikou who eats that damage, right? So he's going to heal up. At this point, STMM, they need to be really careful. Any overstep will cost them a life.
Yeah, we kind of find them back onto the same spot they were in game 1, right? They're almost at that crystal. The higher ground turrets are still intact, which they've got to kind of just make sure they keep intact for now, because it's going to be a little bit easier for a bounce back if they're able to just have that bit of support.
Yeah, for now, at this point, it's Influence Rage working on the Shadow Tyrant. There is going to be an electric charge buff. So the Tyrant's buff going to be very effective, because that's exactly what Influence Rage likes to do, right? They love to fight. And pair it up, Petroni, he loves the Tyrant buff.
He does love the Tyrant buff. I mean, the extra damage, that chain lightning effect as well. And if you just give that over to the Crimson Golem as well, he's going to be pretty solid going into these team fights. That so Blazing Sun Arrow comes through once more onto Zing. And it looks like that Suya has given it over to Orgrin because he's level 17 as well. But that's not what we're focusing on here. We do see the Orgrin go down. The Death on Sunset is just not going to be enough to drive away Influence Rage. But they are currently winning a 1v1 trade so far to the side of Influence Rage. Sony does go a little bit overbearing in that bit of team fight.
Yeah, but this is a specialty of STMN, right? They always find a way back. Here we go. The next stun comes in.
Next stun does come in, but there is no follow-up. We do see Withdraw trying to just sit in that bush and play very cordial with that weight, and we are getting into the back of the line there, trying to take out Petroni, but there's too much damage going through. Death on Sunset tries to follow the Dolia. We do get a takedown there. Is Petroni going down as well, but we do lose Kurumi, so both of the marksmen for both teams have now fallen, and so has two high ground turrets, Kin.
Yep, it's a big win for the side of Influence Rage. They were looking to change the state of the game, change the history, and so far they are successful, right? They've broken 2 of the tier 3s. They are fully 6 slotted for a couple of the members. Petroni, 6 slotted. Sony, 6 slotted as well. And of course, the most important, Raikou, 6 slotted. So 3 members with 6 slots. Let's see, what can they do?
Yeah, I mean, we're still waiting for Lung to come through and activate with that little bit more of damage. We can kind of see that he's even going to go into the Starbreaker here because he has the extra second tier item for the penetration. He already has the extra Torment, so he's not going to build 2 of those guys. And so we should be seeing that Starbreaker come through for the side of STMN on Kurumi there. And that could be big, especially going against the Raikou and Sony.
But it's tough, right? Because you're fighting into a whole E. His range is longer than you, so it is going to be a difficult place to position. And it's really hard to find yourself in a spot where you can kind of lay down the damage without getting hit in the face.
Yeah,
oh, here we go, Stun comes in.
Definitely Zing once more. He loves getting hit in the face with that star. Blazing Sun arrow there, but there we go. Sony is committing with the ultimate from Nezeb, but there is plenty of damage going over to Nezeb as well. That is too much of an early engage. We do see that the backline is getting attacked with death. Just constantly being a little stealthy ninja was enough to take them away.
I mean, he is such a classy Clash laner, right? You don't expect him to come from the back. And if Influence Rage don't watch their back carefully, this might cost them the game. They don't want to lose in the exact same fashion they did in game number 1.
Yeah, definitely not, but they are looking to eye up this Overlord, but I think they're a little bit not confident here, maybe using it as a bit of a bait to kind of try and draw the side of STMN there, missing out. That Blazing Sun arrow is probably a god gift to Zing there, just being able to keep alive and not just have all the side of Influence Rage just flood on top of you.
Yep, you can see the thought process behind Influence Rage, right? They want to use this Overlord to bait them in. It's just a matter of minutes, right? The Tempest Dragon will be here in 2.5 minutes. They would like to secure this Overlord before that. They don't want a debuff to happen when the Tempest Dragon is spawning.
Imagine if we just get a beautiful kill, crucial kill theft here, but it looks like none of them are around there. The Cannon Blast is a little bit too far away, and Dolia just takes the brunt of it. So this is going to make this next minute or so a lot harder for STMN right now because they have the Shadow Vanguard come through, and then they also have the little minion Vanguards as well. They kind of need to do something here. I think they need to play at base and just defend like they did in game 1.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the next fight is just going to be who is the better team, because both teams, the common spells are up, the ultimates are up, everything is in line to have the biggest fight of game number 2.
Yes, we can see that Cannon Blast is going to be crucial in this next little bit of a defense for the side of STMN, just kind of trying to freeze the Kaiser into the front line of STMN right now. Zing, everybody trying to defend this higher ground turret right now. There's a lot of damage going over to Arvonian, and he is gone down, so the Cannon Blast is no more. Raikou making some hard work here for With Death. But the Vanguard has got the slow, but he is just about at the border of the crystal. And there is quite a few Sadie Sentry coming through once more for Influence Rage. So I feel like they can close it out here if they get more few kills here onto the side of STMN. But Zing is taking a load of damage there. The shield has come through. Okay, Sony goes down. Cozy, Riku are still alive with Petroni as well. And the crystal is bare to the Vanguard. They just need to focus it to take this game 2 from STMN. We are getting a full best of 3 in the 3rd day of the Open Series.